This is what the Biden campaign TikTok has been reduced to. This is how desperate they are to get black votes. This shows you how terrified they are right now. Donald Trump has joined TikTok, and I'm not quite sure how to feel about it. I don't like TikTok. TikTok is owned by the Communist Party of China. Now, I think the Trump campaign has said that because of the new divestment order from the federal government, TikTok is no longer going to be owned by the Chinese government, and therefore they've had a different change of thought about it. I'm not so sure. I don't like TikTok for a lot of reasons, not just the commie ownership of it. But whether you like it or not, Donald Trump's campaign has, in fact, joined TikTok. Now, up until now, it's been Joe Biden's campaign that's been on TikTok, which frankly is even more hypocritical because Joe Biden's the guy who signed the law prohibiting the federal employees, military personnel from having a TikTok account because it was so dangerous. So while he's ordering the service members and federal employees to stay off TikTok, his campaign was benefiting from it. So there's a shock. Joe Biden's a lying hypocrite. He's been on, Joe Biden has, I think, for about 9 months on TikTok, and he's done well. He's got like 347,000 followers. Donald Trump's been on TikTok for a week, and he's got 4 million followers in a week. Now, like I said, say what you will about whether Donald Trump should be on TikTok or not. That might be a different conversation. But if you're looking at the results of whether there's any interest in either one of these two campaigns, it's not even close. But I do like who's Biden following? They're following 4 people. I want to know who they're following. One of them's got to be like a Sesame Street thing or something. You know he watches cartoons. I'm guessing it's Dora the Explorer because he's woke. Meanwhile, Trump is not following anyone, and he's got 4 million followers, 4 million likes, by the way. Biden has been able to acquire 4.5 million likes in 9 months. In 1 week, Trump has as many likes. That's an incredible side-by-side comparison there. If the election were held on TikTok today, I think we know who would win. That said, let's look at a little of the content that the Biden team has put forth. They created a TikTok video that, does what Joe Biden has always done in his political career, and really what Democrats do, which is prey on people's fears, smears an innocent person with the most horrific kind of exploitive defamation, and divides us along racial lines. I mean, it's got Biden written all over it. Take a look at this video.
Guys, you have to see this new report about Donald Trump. A producer on The Apprentice just came out and said that Donald Trump called a black contestant on his show this. And here's Donald Trump's own former assistant confirming that there's a tape of him saying it.
I had an opportunity to go out in Los Angeles and sit down with the person who actually has a copy of the tape. And I heard his voice as clear as you and I are sitting here.
You have heard the tape.
I have heard
since
the
publication
tape.
of this book.
Absolutely.
So you know it exists.
And I know it exists.
Anyone notice a pattern here? This is the same man who called to execute innocent black men and spread racist lies about the first black president. Donald Trump is exactly who we all knew he was, a lifelong racist. Black voters kicked Donald Trump out of the White House in 2020, and we're going to do it again this November.
Wow. I mean, this is a really, really new approach for Democrats. They're calling a Republican racist. Gosh, that is inventive. You got to hand it to him. This is creative. This is groundbreaking. This is what they've been doing for 40 years, actually. And this is an old story, by the way, this whole N-word thing. Let me ask you that. No, and by the way, unlike the rest of the media, I'm not going to say one way or the other if I believe this tape exists. I have no idea. Nobody does. I know I'm not going to believe Omarosa, as Chuck Todd credulously does. But let me ask you this. If this tape exists, Is there any reason that you can think of as to why it hasn't been made public at this point on June 4th, 2024, 9 years after Donald Trump came down the escalator, 4 years after he left office, almost 8 years after he was elected president? Through all of it, through the Russian collusion hoax, through the Stormy Daniels thing, through the all of it. And we still haven't seen this tape. We still haven't heard this audio. No, listen, again, I don't know. It might exist. And I have no doubt, given how desperate they are, that between now and election, we are all going to hear this tape. I am sure that we are. That doesn't mean it's real. We've all seen what they can do with AI and deep fakes and what have you, but it doesn't matter. Does anyone believe that it exists and we have not heard it to this point at this date? But throw all of that aside for a moment. This is what the Biden campaign TikTok has been reduced to. This is how desperate they are to get black votes. This shows you how terrified they are right now. This shows you exactly how bad it is. Hey, guys, don't even think about voting for him. He used the N-word about 15 years ago backstage at The Apprentice. You know, like that thing Kanye says every 3 sentences. But here's a really remarkable aspect of this whole story. That guy, Joe Biden, who runs that TikTok account, the president, who's now resorting to this smear campaign based on an unverified story with only one person's public testimony verifying it, and it's Omarosa. That guy, Joe Biden, who's doing that, well, we've got him on tape when he was a senator. The bad comb over. And he's using the N-word.
Plan in the basement said, quote, "We already have a nigger mayor. We don't need any more nigger big shots."
That's not a deep fake. That's not AI. That's Joe Biden, Senator of Delaware, throwing it around. Pretty casually, by the way. I don't use that word. If I were reading a transcript that had that word, and I had to read it out loud in a public setting like that, I would probably visually flinch, or I wouldn't even say the word because I know the hateful history of it. Look how easy this is for him.
Plan in the basement said, quote, "We already have a nigger mayor. We don't need any more nigger big shots."
Not a flinch, not a pause, not a hesitation, not a forgive my language. I'm just quoting here. Could have easily just said N-word. Why in a Senate committee hearing does he feel compelled to just casually throw it out there?
Plan in the basement said, quote, "We already have a nigger mayor. We don't need any more nigger big shots."
Well, this is the guy who, in complaining about school busing in the 70s, he worried out loud that his boys would have to go to a school that was really just a racial jungle. Jungle is the word he used. Racial jungle. Thankfully, though, look at how good his son turned out. Hunter's did we get an update on his federal criminal trial today? Nah, we'll have to wait for tomorrow on that. So while they tell you they're worried about Donald Trump being such a racist, because apparently when he was taping Apprentice, off camera, someone caught him saying the N-word, allegedly, but here it is, 10 years after he announced his candidacy, and no one's ever actually heard this tape ever before. You know, it's sort of like they buried it with that picture of Barack Obama and Louis Farrakhan. The LA Times had that picture, a newspaper, and they buried that and didn't release it to the public until after Barack Obama had already left office, because the newspaper thought it would be too politically volatile. The newspaper. The LA Times had that picture, Barack Obama with Louis Farrakhan, the anti-Semite, you know him, the racist. Yeah, that guy. So I guess they're just burying this too, because they think this will be too political. It might, out of context, paint Donald Trump the wrong way. Sure. Anybody believe that? Does anybody believe that this tape exists? We haven't heard it already. And again, I give you Senator Joe Biden.
plan in the basement said, quote, we already have a nigger mayor. We don't need any more nigger big shots.
Why hasn't anyone asked him about this or challenged him on this? By the way, if you show this tape to Joe Biden, he'll say, oh, who's that handsome son of a gun? He looks familiar. Is that my cousin? Because, you know, his brain doesn't work. One other part of this story that is pretty fantastic. In fact, I think my favorite part of the story. Let's go back to TikTok. We're going to watch the video, but we're not really going to watch the video. What we're going to watch is a contemporaneous scroll of the comments from TikTok viewers who are responding to the race baiting from the Biden campaign. Take a look at this. It's fantastic. Can't wait to afford a house. Why is my rent expensive? I can't afford eggs. Why is my gas so expensive? Why are my groceries expensive? Why is my gas expensive? Then 3.2 million. That's the number of followers Trump has. Why are groceries expensive? We're broke. AI can do anything now. 3.4 million. 3.3 million. Reaching 3.2 million. Why is my gas expensive? Who is she? 3.2 million. Why does Biden have red eyes? Oh, that's from the picture. 4 million now. My groceries are expensive. I want to buy a house, but the rates are too high. 3.7 million in one day. Why can't my parents afford a house? Why is my gas expensive? Why can't I find a job? What app is this? Where is the tap? I don't know what that is. 3.6 million. We're going to keep going. He gets to 5 million, as you know, or no, 4.4 million. There we go. That's where we get to. Why don't they post it? That's a good question. Why don't they post the video that they claim they have? Why are my gas station expensive? I love this. Why is my gas $80 a tank? Honestly, that should be the response to everyone who makes any accusation against Donald Trump or you or any Republican. It should be your response on your Facebook page to anybody who posts something about Donald Trump, trying to slime him and slander him. Just say, why is gas so expensive? Why are interest rates so high? Why are eggs 3 times what they were? Why are my groceries so expensive? Look at all the crying emojis, all the clown face emojis. Why is a cup of coffee $8? By the way, I love all the people who are commenting saying, is my parents' gas so high? You know, because TikTok is for 14-year-olds. They don't vote unless they're Democrats and they're in the country illegally. But even the kids are calling out. Look at the comments. And there's like nobody in there that says, yeah, that's right, Trump is racist. I mean, nobody. Oh, the Russian might have. Trump for president. Post the video. You won't because it didn't happen. More pandering. It sucks. Of course, they don't show any proof. Biden is more racist than Trump. Trump for president. I think Trump's going to win this November. Trump 100%. This looks like the comment section on our videos. I love it. I love this country. Honestly, now that I think about it, I think it's a great thing that Donald Trump is on TikTok. If this is going to be the result every time, it just keeps going. There's another 4 minutes of this. Look at the comments. Look at it. It's fantastic. It's beautiful. It's a work of art. And by the way, in case you missed it, Joe Biden said the N-word out loud during a Senate hearing without flinching. It's on C-SPAN. We have the video. Why don't you share it with somebody? Someone who thinks Trump is racist. Share this video with them. I mean, it's not going to change their mind, but it'll be fun to see the reaction.